One of the most common questions that I face almost on a daily basis is that, Shikhar, what should I do? Should I do the MBA? Should I go for Gen AI course? What do I need to do? Which path should I take? And usually my answer is I don't know. And you may be surprised. Why am I saying this? I'm a career coach. I'm a mentor to very senior IT professionals who work in top level product companies. Why I say this? Because it is like asking somebody, where should I go, without even telling him the reason why you want to go there. For example, if I tell you that, hey, you have to go to some place, it is not like you just take out your car and start driving. You'll ask which place to go, what is the reason for that, and then probably you'll put it in a Google map and then try to find a way, and then you start traversing that particular distance. But in our careers, I mean, it's very surprising. 99.99% people don't have a clue exactly where they are going. And this is the reason I did this recording today. It's a very raw recording, and it is only for people who have patience to go through a certain process. Okay. If you do that right, probably by the end of this video, you'll get an idea like how do I define that part in a very scientific data centric method. I call my frameworks for career management scientific career management, and it is not a buzzword. Please understand that. Why do I call it scientific? Because whatever we do is based on data. Now, it's a very short stint. I mean, during usual processes, actually, you have to go through a very deep level of diagnosis, which involves like, mock interviews, benchmarking, and all those things. And then you go through that. But even if you do the steps that I'm showing in this particular lesson, you'll get absolute clarity about your career direction and what you need to do to reach that particular level. If you want all the materials, because you need those materials to execute this process, just reshare this post and put part in comments and tag me. I'll send you all the resources for free. Okay, now let's get down to the details and let's get started. Now, I'm sharing a document in front of you. This is actually from a workshop that I conducted, which I call Career Clarity Workshop. So the first thing what we need to do, we need to identify our destination. So this is the thing that probably you need to start thinking differently from now. If you are someone like say most people out there, generally people think one step at a time, one job at a time. Stop doing that. Start thinking what is the destination that you need to reach, and then walk backwards from that particular destination. Then again, the question is, how do I find that destination? Just any of those CXO, CTO, is it just good enough? No. So first, what we need to do, we need to find the right big vision. For example, say I'm technically not that savvy and I want to be a CTO, probably not at a good goal for me. Okay. Say I'm very good, bad at finances like me, and I want to become a CFO. Again, probably not a very right goal. So first, you have to define broadly what is the particular family of job I want to target. Okay, that is called big vision. I mean, big vision is much bigger than that, but I'm just showing that first we have to zone in on a particular category. So there are many ways of doing that. So I'm just showing those. This is the Excel, what I call Career Accelerator's big vision selector, and I'll be sharing it with you if you want that. So first, how to use. Okay, so I've given some general guidelines. So generally, for example, if you want to be a CTO or head of engineering or that kind of particular position, then best if you're hands-on, credible, up to date technically, and can do run delivery on an org scale. Basically what I mean is that you have to be technically very savvy. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to keep on coding. I mean, not that, but if you see a piece of code, you should understand it. If you see architecture, you should be understanding that, and you should also have a track record of doing engineering deliveries. Okay, again, explaining why and the gaps, all those things are like kind of explained over here, so you can go through this. It'll give you a very broad level idea, but we'll not be relying on this. What we'll be doing, we'll be using something called this. So this is a Google sheet, so you'll be using it to. So I've used some logic over there. You can in fact, this is like Excel formulas, you can tweak around those also, you can see those. But this will help you probably tell you that, hey, most probably based on your self-assessment, and again, it's a self-assessment. I mean, it may be right, it may be wrong, but generally we have some idea about our strengths and weakness. Probably this is the category or this is the path you need to follow. So first, your name, you may put this or not, this is optional. I'm just doing this along with you. Now this is important. Okay, some things are optional, like your name, that is like optional. Of course, it is only for you, so it doesn't really matter. Company type. Now this is important. So you have to put what kind of companies broadly your experience have been. Say you are somebody who have 25 years of experience, you may have been working in different type of companies, but predominantly, for example, I'll say almost majority of my career, except for a stint in Global Logic, which was a product services company, I worked in product companies. So I'll put my company time as product. But say if you worked in services company, like say Infosys, Wipro, TCS, then you'll be putting in services. And again, see, there can be a mix of company. Company may be doing both services and product, but predominantly, what is the company type? Okay. For example, even now companies like Wipro, Infosys, they also have products, but predominantly they are outsourced service companies. Fine. Startup is like, it can be any startup. GCC, definition, probably. So I'm selecting product, you select whatever is relevant for you. Now these are critical. Okay, first is technical proficiency. Do you think of yourself technically pretty proficient in your particular field? It doesn't necessarily need to be coding. For example, you may be from DevOps side, you may be from QA side. So technical proficiency in QA will mean probably doing automation, writing a lot of scripts, performance testing, stuff like that. But for engineering manager like me, technical proficiency is like high level system designs and that sort of thing. So I think I'm high technical proficiency. I'll mark myself high. Again, mind it, I haven't been doing active coding for a long time, but still I think myself as high technical proficiency wise, because first thing, I'm good at system design. Second, even if I have not been doing coding, if there is some code problem somebody is showing me and I have to get involved, I know with a bit of effort, I can probably brush it up and I can at least ask the right questions in the particular discussion. So again, it's a self-assessment, and it's very subjective, but still objective is to understand a broad level part. Coming to that, then technical relevance. Now, what do I mean by that? And again, it's a debatable thing. Please don't take it in that way. But what I mean to say the technology that you have been working in, how relevant it is. For example, say you are somebody from AS400 mainframe domain. I know it's still pretty critical. A lot of banks and everything rely on that, but still, at least the way I see it, probably I'll mark it low because it is something not very trending or something. But say you're working in, say, a lot of Gen AI stuff and all those things, you mark yourself high. And say you're working something in Java, Java, just like me. I mean, I'm from Java J2E background. I'll mark it probably medium. Again, subjective thing. Like what I'm trying to say is that your technical background, how cutting edge it is. This is very cutting edge, you market high. If it is like normal thing like .NET development, something I'm doing, I'll say medium. And if it is like pretty legacy technology kind, then I'll probably mark it as low. Okay, again, use your judgment on that. Now these are important, and I am designing for more senior people, say who have at least 10 years of experience, who have been doing some bit of project management, program management. But then again, even if you are a fresher, probably, and it'll mark it low, right? And but that doesn't mean that your path is set. But if you're somebody pretty senior, generally the path is more or less set. So assuming in that side, say for example, project program management, again, I'll mark myself high. Depending on how much project program management you have done, you choose your thing. People management, again, I'll mark myself high. I have managed entire engineering departments in Barster system, almost 100 people org. And it is not just about a number of people, it's about the complexity of the projects that you do. What kind of interactions you have to do, have you put people in performance part, have you helped people go to the next level, what kind of seniority, like for example, I have done like pretty senior position promotions in my company. So that is the reason I am marking myself high. You can mark whatever is relevant for you. Customer centricity, like how customer obsessed you are, how much. And again, see, customer centricity, a lot of you may not have any experience of dealing with customers directly. I mean to say, outside your organization. So you can take it as a client centricity also. Sometimes we have internal clients. For example, most of my career, I think except for probably Barster systems, I haven't dealt that much with external customers. There are other teams to deal with that. But I have dealt with a lot of internal clients as well. And I think I have shown great customer obsessions. I have stories for those where I've helped customers increase trust in our organization and stuff like that. So based on that, I am marking it high. So when you assess yourself, assess on that, like how much customer obsessed you are. Do you keep on thinking, hey, how can I make my life of my clients better? Do you go out of your way to satisfy their needs? Stuff like that. Product management. again, although I have not been a product manager formally, but I have created 10 plus products in my career, and I think 6 or 7 of them right from scratch, right from writing the first document for that. So I'm marking myself high, although I'm not technically a product manager. I never had a designation of product manager, but I understand the product management principles. I'm a certified Scrum product owner. Certification doesn't really matter much, but I've done this life cycle multiple times. So that's the reason I'm putting myself high. You figure out what you are. Okay. So based on these ratings, you'll get some scores. You can ignore this TP value and all those things. You can ignore these scores. But what is more important is what is the numbers I'm getting here. So what I have done from Q till Z, we have given some certain kind of roles over there, okay, and saying that what is a good fit for that particular person. For example, CTO, head of engineering, or CTO, that kind of thing is coming as a good fit for me, in which I also think probably I'm aligned. I was reporting to CTO in multiple companies, so I know like what that part is, although I was never a CTO myself. So it is saying that, hey, this probably is a pretty good fit for you. Head of architecture, probably principal engineer, I think. What is the second? So let me see, what is this? Principal architect. It is not a very great fit for me, because why? I put technology as medium, okay? Technology relevance as medium over there. So there are different, scoring it is giving. Director of product and VP product also, it's scored myself high. But and so I can, so basically what I do, I go for the areas which are high for me. So it gives me, if I'm the person doing it for my career, it gives me food for thought that, hey, maybe I can target CTO kind of positions, or maybe I can also target director of product and VP product. But then again, I know that I am not formally a product manager. I never played the role of a product manager formally, although I marked myself high, so I can use my judgment call in this. So if you ask me, probably I'll be leaning more for this. So what you need to do, make a copy of this particular sheet, and fill in all those details. Use your contextual awareness. For example, this sheet doesn't know everything, right? You know more about yourself. You can ask people who know about you. You can take feedback from them rather than just going for your self assessment. You can get some mock interviews done. People do mock interview. You can pay for that, and people do mock interviews. I also used to do that before, but I don't do that like apart from my mentorship. So do that and try to do this exercise so that you understand, hey, what probably is the right big vision for me. This is the first step. I hope things are very clear. I'm just recapping. You use this sheet, answer all these questions till column I, okay? Pick up the columns which have maximum score and which you also think are relevant for you. Okay, so now we have one part CTO. Now this done, comes the second part. Which is the second part? That is defining the big vision. We just have zeroed in on CTO. Now we don't know what exactly is required for CTO, because it can also vary, right? The CTO of Google will be very different from CTO of say Mantra. I mean, good company, but different profile, different thing. Okay, CTO of say Procter and Gamble. They may also have, there's an FMCG company. They may also have CTO, but profiles will be very different. So what do you do? I have again defined steps in this particular document. This is what is called actually creating the big vision. So we have done this first step. Now we know that our goal is CTO. Okay, this is what we have zeroed in. Now option two, and all of this I have given some Gen options here as well, but you can also do it manually. And if you have time, if you have the patience, you can do it manually also. So what I'm trying to say is that identify 10 small to medium software companies that aligns with your background. Exclude outliers like really big, really small companies. I think that don't pick Google or Facebook, and similarly don't pick up a company which just started yesterday and have say 5 people in there. Okay, generally small to medium, like 500 to say 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 people company, a good one. Okay, and not necessarily software product company. Although I've written software product company. Say for example, your background, you've been working in banks throughout. Okay, and that is your background. You can also pick like banks as well. Say if you have a background of FMCG companies, you can pick up non-software companies also. You are into IT, but in a non-traditional software company. So depending on your background, pick up the companies. Option two, go to AI of your choice and execute the following prompt. we are using Perplexity. So I actually did this in a workshop. So I did use perplexity.ai. I'm assuming all of you are familiar with that. If not, this is perplexity.ai. I have Pro because I have Airtel subscription. I mean, it gives it for free, but you don't need to go for Pro. You don't need to buy any of those. Free is good enough. Okay. So go to Perplexity or go to ChatGPT. Try which one works better for you. Go to Grok, whichever you think, DeepSeek. Open up all four, five of them. Doesn't really matter. Okay. And then you go and execute this command. So what is this command? I want to find the LinkedIn profiles of 5 CTOs. I can even make it 10 as well, from small to mid-sized software companies. You can again change it. If you don't want software companies, you can go for FMCG or whatever is your background. Exclude anyone who is a co-founder of company. We don't want entrepreneurs. So this is very important, okay? Because see, if you're watching this, probably you are a salaried employee. You are doing this growth in a corporate setup. Now, if you're an entrepreneur, it's a totally different ball game. So we want to exclude those people. Give more weightage to people of Indian origin and to software product companies. Again, assuming you're watching it from India, if you're from any other country, you can change this. Software product companies, because generally my background has been in software product companies, and at least based on whatever I have seen, the growth part is better in software product companies. Exclude companies whose employee strength is less than 100, whose revenue is less than 10 million USD. Ask me clarifying questions until you are 95% certain. This is a very important point. Always include that. Fine. So these are certain things I have done. I think this prompt will work more or less for everyone. You can change this. If you're in a step one, if it didn't get CTO, you get something else, then pick that one. Okay. But because I did this exercise on CTO because based on whatever feedback whatever inputs I share, so I'm doing CTO. So use this, and this is basically what I'm trying to say. This is a manual setup. You do manual search, go to LinkedIn, try looking for people over there, and this is Grok or Perplexity. So let's try it once. Last time I tried it, it worked pretty well. Interesting thing is, I don't know only I have faced this or not, but sometimes what happens when I run this kind of commands, ChatGPT sometimes can read into LinkedIn, scrap through the LinkedIn data. Sometimes it cannot. So use like whatever works for you. That's what I'm saying. Like, use 4 or 5 different AIs, and AI evolves so fast. So you never know. When I'm recording this, maybe ChatGPT is good. Tomorrow, Gemini is good. Use whatever is good for you. And whatever you have easy access, again, you don't need to pay. You can use for free. So now let's try it in Perplexity. See if it can give some results over there. We can also try it at the same time in ChatGPT also. Let's see if it gives me something. So there's an earlier context I had. So I'm just using this. So I did it once before, but I'm doing it like fresh. So again, I'm executing it in ChatGPT also side by side. Okay. By the way, I have Pro for both of them, but honestly, I don't think it matters because I've done this workshop with people who didn't have Pro, so it works either way. So it is asking certain clarifying questions. So location prefers, should the CTO be based in India or Indian origin CTO? So it's a very good question. Okay. So I think let's go for India. CTO is based in India. So second question, I'm just giving anything. Okay, I'm not thinking too much. So you do whatever you feel is right. Are you primarily targeting enterprise SaaS software product companies, or should I include companies related to any other vertical? I'll say no. Use other verticals also. Company type, yes. Again, play around with this. There may be company whose revenue is like $5 million, which is probably still good, or maybe there is a zero revenue company which is still pretty good. So it doesn't really matter. I just kept it, give it some context. Focus on independent CTOs or established company, not startup entrepreneurs, or should a VC back growth fund also fit? Both, I'll say for four, I'll be using both. Data output like table format, blah 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 blah. Paragraph summary of each CTO. 5 is yes. Let me see if ChatGPT also asked me similar questions. If it did, then I'll just include it over there. Or it asked me different order. I cannot copy paste it. So now let's do at least one. Otherwise, I'll keep on answering both places. So I'm here. I'll just say They're asking different set of questions. I'll not do that as of now. I'll just doing one. I hope Perplexity gives us some good results. So cool. So it gave us something. Okay, Naveen U book tickets from early. So Paytm. So basically, early was in Paytm. It's given the LinkedIn also, and sometimes it gives wrong links. So at least you know the name Naveen U. You know he's working in this kind of company. You can search yourself also. Utkarsh Chaturvedi. So always validate. Okay, some of those links may not be valid. Let's see. Let's Utkarsh. Let's check this person if it's a valid one. Let me just check if my recording is happening right or not. Otherwise, it'll be wastage. Hopefully, it is happening right. So it's still opening up. Correct. So he's CTO. Move connected mobility something something. But it made one mistake. I said India. It takes somebody from Netherlands, but still of Indian origin. It respected the initial part. Honestly, Indian origin doesn't matter. I think we should focus rather on India as a place. But you can see it has given good. So it's a correct profile, except for the fact that the person is not based in India. So basically, I think he's doing a decent job. So we got some names over there. Now, once you get the names, we come to the third. Combine option 1 and option 2 output. I didn't do option 1 myself. Option 1 is actually going and searching in LinkedIn. For example, if you go to LinkedIn, say CTO, I'm doing a search. Okay, we'll be doing people. It gave me some links. Dipankar, Solanki, founding member. So it is giving me something. Okay, ex Naika, Gaurav Sharma, who seems like let's see what is this profile. And by the way, I don't know any of those people. It is a public profile and it is okay to share because it's a public profile. I'm not doing anything wrong here. So he's a CTO of Funds and Petal. Good example. If it is if Funds and Petal, FNP is not a software company. If you remember, I was saying that you can go for non-software companies also if you have a background in those, and even if you don't have a background in those, sometimes it makes sense to deviate from the used path. Like everybody is going to software, so you can go. It again depends on your strength. That is why the assessment is so very important. But this is again something like this is our manual search result, and we have one from Perplexity or Chat GPT. Now, what does the step 3 says? That we combine both of them and find a list of people which you think is right. Okay, a bit of manual judgment is always helpful. I hope I'm not going too fast. So just for so that you can retain whatever I'm going through here, I'll recap whatever the steps we did. In the first step, we filled up certain details in this career accelerator big vision selector. It gave us certain recommendation. In our case, the recommendation was CTO. In the second step, we started first by searching manually, which I skipped except for one person. And then we used a prompt in Perplexity. You can use any chat engine that you feel is good, and eventually come up with a list of LinkedIn profiles of CTOs. So this is something that I've actually done before. And so I'm just using this. So you get a list of that. Just for the sake of time, I'm just doing this because again, understand the objective is to teach you the process. If you understand the process, you can always tweak that according to your needs. Now, step 3 is derive insights. So again, here is a proper prompt. You can of course use this prompt. You can modify this prompt, enhance that. And again, if you're using something apart from CTO, just like change this thing. But otherwise, it's more or less good. What it is saying, it is giving it a persona. Like I think I was using it in ChatGPT. I'm saying that world's best career coach. Okay, no, ChatGPT will act as the best career coach, and then it'll execute one by one. First, go to the LinkedIn profiles, and sometimes remember, ChatGPT will say that I cannot access that. Okay, in that case, use something else. Use Grok. Use anything else. There's so many chat engines. Then extract their experiences and try to find the most common patterns. And then, based on that, create a fictional job description for CTO of a small to mid-sized company. So, why we are doing this exercise? This is called data-centric exercise. It's kind of something like exit polls when there's all these companies try to understand who will win. So basically what they do, they find some samples, so they do sampling. So just talk to people, ask whom you have voted for, and based on that they do some predictions. So this is almost similar to that. Now, depending on your sampling, what is our sampling? These are our sampling. If you choose the samples right, there are high chances that prediction will be right. And of course, the sample size, the bigger the sample size, better it is. I just limit it to 7. You can go for 10. You can go for 15 if you want to. Okay. So if you do the sampling right, it'll give you a better prediction. So what we're trying to do here, I call this process reverse engineering. I mean, we do something much deeper than that in our mentorship, but again, something I'm teaching you that you can do in a like a jiffy in a very short span of time. Objective is to learn from others. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every time yourself. Some people have already done that journey. Some people have already been successful. Let's try to learn from that. Let's try to understand, hey, what it takes to reach that particular level. What kind of experience I need to have, what kind of skills I need to have, what kind of education I need to have. So that is why we use this prompt. And you can do this manually also, of course, if you have the patience. Then we, the output will be produced. So in this case, ChatGPT produced this particular output. Fine. So it is giving, okay, for a CTO profile, and of course you can do randomly also to set ChatGPT, okay, create a JD for CTO, it will do something. But we want to give it a lot of context. We're talking about Indian market, we're talking about certain kind of companies, we're talking about certain kind of people. So it will be far better than a very generic random output of a CTO JD. So it is giving us certain things over there. So giving us certain key requirements and responsibilities. So generally, responsibilities are the things that you'll be doing once you get the particular position, and requirements are the things that you need to have to get that particular position. So it's giving a pretty long list of stuff that you need, education and everything. And this is actually reversing. So it is giving. And I tried, like, for example, I tried ChatGPT, I tried Perplexity also. And you can use again multiple chat engines and try to derive the insights out of that. Now, why do you need to have this? Okay, so say for example, if you use multiple chat engines, you can again combine them as well. And if you're doing say manual, so I'll come to why do you need to do this, but let's complete this step. So step 5 is merge them. So manual, chat GPT, Perplexity, DeepSeek, Grok, Gemini, whatever you're using, whatever you feel is right, combine all of them. Fine. Once you have that, then comes the key part, which is gap analysis. So you may be anywhere in that ladder. For example, say the CTO ladder is here, you may be here, or you may be here. You may be just near that. Doesn't really matter. There will be always some gaps if you're not a CTO as of now. Goal is to understand that gap so that you can plan accordingly. Fine. And the gaps broadly will be of 3 categories. One will be educational, like what kind of degree certificates you need to have. It generally doesn't matter. I mean, you pay money, you get a degree and certificate. Okay. Second is skill, negotiations, communication, networking, decision making, skills. And third is experience. What kind of rich experience you have to go to that. For example, say for example, a C-suite guy. Generally, you need to be a manager of a manager. That's an experiential thing. You cannot produce it overnight, but you need to know what is required for this. So you need to list down all those gaps here. Hmm? And I'll say do it preferably manually. And one technique I use here is you do a color coding: red, yellow, and green. Red means I have nothing, I'm like zero in those things. Yellow means I have something, but I need to be better in those things. And green is I'm pretty strong in those areas. So do a color coding of this ideal JD. For example, say deep knowledge, I just did a random color coding just to show you. Okay, so you do color coding of this, and then whatever the red things, you list them down and think of 3 things that you can do to bridge those gaps. Okay, you can learn, you can do some dummy project. For example, say it's a technical gap. Of course, you can learn. There's so many materials available for free. You don't even have to pay for that. But mostly learning happens better when you start doing this. So you can probably open a GitHub account. You can have your own Git project. You can start contributing to open source. There's so many things you can do. Okay, so list down those things over there. So this is kind of a high level plan. You understand now based on data, based on your self assessment, that hey, this is the path I want to traverse. These are my gaps, and there can be a lot many gaps, and these are the gaps, and this is how probably I'll be bridging those gaps. Someplace you'll have clear idea how to be doing those, someplace you may not have clear idea. Then talk to people who know, discuss, ask for help. You don't have to figure out everything by yourself. There's no shame asking for help. Remember this. Many times it is better to actually try something, somebody who has done that, rather than making mistakes and trying to fix that. I did that for a long time myself. Honestly, I didn't have any options, and even if probably I didn't even actually look for options, I should have, but I just tried to figure it out on my own. And I think it took me longer because of that reason. Anyway, so we have covered the big vision now. So we know what is big vision. That is like my north star. That is the direction I want to keep on going. So whichever direction I do, I should be bridging those gaps one by one. Okay. So now it is done. Next, come to the next role. So this is again critical. Now, what is the difference between big vision and next role? In some cases, big vision and next role may be same. Say, for example, I'm already VP, SVP, or director of a company, and I'm targeting CTO. Maybe next role is CTO itself. Okay, that's possible. But say I'm a bit down the ladder. Say, for example, I'm a team lead, I'm a manager, I'm a senior manager. Probably CTO will take me some time. So what I need to figure out that what I need to do now immediately so that I can take a step forward to that big vision. Okay, generally, I'll say 5 years is a good enough time for planning for any big vision. Don't get constrained by this limiting beliefs that, oh, it'll take me a lot of time, it'll take me 15 years, 20 years. People have done a lot in 5 years. So I'm just throwing a random number, but I strongly believe that 5 years is good enough for achieving any goal. So that is your big vision. What is the next step I need to take to reach the particular big vision? If whatever you're doing is already adding to that particular big vision, great, but generally it doesn't. So I have to think of a next job or next role, and that is where it comes into play. So first, identify the top players in your particular field. What I mean by that, so based on your past experience or your desire, choose top 10, 20 players in the field. Basically, I mean to say companies. Okay, when I say players, I mean to say companies. Say, for example, I want to go for, say, software product companies in a security domain. I just giving a random example. Say, for example, my goal is to become a CISO. Then, and I'm just to say entry level team lead or something, or maybe I'm working in a very average company as of now. Again, doing a hypothetical exercise here. So then I need to find what are the top 10 software product companies in the world who specialize in security domain. Again, I've given a prompt. You can use it someplace. You can do your own research. Perplexity is a pretty good tool for research. So what I said, ki identify top 10 software product companies in the world who specializes in security domain. Only keep companies that has operations in India. Again, relevant if you are from India. If you're not from India, put your own country wherever you are. Determine the ranking. You have to tell it like how you're deciding who is top. Okay, by market share, revenue, or service like Gartner. So when I did that, it gave me a list of certain companies. So Microsoft, Cisco, Palo Alto Networks, a lot of companies. And some of the companies I myself didn't know. Tenable I didn't know. Okta I know. Fortinet I didn't know. So it given a list over there. Now once it is done, step two is to identify the job description. And again, see, this is actually much more detailed than big vision because big vision still is relatively smaller set. I mean, when I did this Google sheet, like 5, 10 broad categories I pick, whereas this one can be actually much more detailed. There's so many variations. I mean, if you're a technical person, pure technical person, it can be technical architect, that kind of part. If you're managerial, it can be engineering management, it can be program management, technical program management, it can be product management. So it needs much more fine tuning, which is I cannot cover that much in this kind of recorded session because it needs a lot of interactions as well. But you should have some idea about yourself. Otherwise, again, talk to somebody, figure out like what is the part. So say say I want to identify technical program management position. Okay, so I feel like I'm good in technical program manager. I have been doing a lot of stakeholder. Again, this comes from experience. For example, because I have experience, I know okay, technical program management requires a lot of stakeholder management skills, a lot of project and program management skills, risk management, reporting, ability to convince people without having a lot of formal authorities. Somebody who's very good at meetings, but and he's also technical. May not be very deeply technical, but he can at least understand a broad level architecture and stuff like that. They should understand the lingo. So, say if you are somebody like that, again, we're doing a dummy exercise here. Say we are picking up technical program management. So, what I'm saying, I want to target technical program manager equivalent position in companies above. So, because we're doing it in the same context in ChatGPT or something, so it gets the context. If not, into the list over there. So give me a list of different designations that closely match with that role. Look up available positions in the company websites or job sites or search total 10 companies, blah blah blah. So you use this, okay? Again, understand. Say there's a position in Bangalore, you are located in Delhi, you think, okay, I cannot join a position in Bangalore. Doesn't matter. You're not going to apply for this position. What you are trying to again identify here is that what are the things I need to have to get that particular job? Is it a good fit for me? I want to become a technical program manager. Am I good fit for technical program management? So that is what we are trying to do here. So it doesn't matter, okay? But as long country matters because it may vary significantly if you shift countries. It may not also. I mean, for example, companies like Amazon, Google, the JD seem like people do global transfer anywhere in the world, but still we are keeping to India. So I did this particular thing, and it gives me certain links over here. So I've given some links over here. Okay, so we got one, two, three, four, and pick JDs from different companies. So it picked one from Google, one from Amazon, one from Microsoft, and one from LinkedIn itself. Sorry, Walmart. There's a Walmart position. So pick up those links over there, and you can do it manually also. For example, what you can do, you go to that's what I've actually mentioned over here. So pick up a desired role or role that is two level up from you where you are. You should be ambitious. You cannot just keep on going for the same kind of company. But that again depends. Like for example, I'm working in a very say, I mean, it's politically wrong, but I still use the word. Say tier two, tier three company, say very average company, and you want to go for a very top level company. You cannot go two level up. Okay, for example, I was a vice president of engineering in Barsted System. I didn't go for a CTO position in Amazon. I mean, Barsted System is a very small company. I have to be realistic about that. So all those parameters you have to factor in. But say for example it's a comparable company, then you can go two level up. If it is non-comparable company, you have to make those adjustments over there based on your experience. You'll be doing that. But one look is look at your skip level boss. You can understand the designations. So do that, and then go to LinkedIn, find those JDs. You can in fact go to the career site of this. Say for example, this is what I'm doing. I can go to the career site of this companies and find those JDs over there. Fine. Or I can use this kind of prompt, and sometimes it picks, sometimes it doesn't pick. Assess whatever it is doing. Certain things you need to remember. Don't like pick all the JDs from one company because it will skew it. And also ensure that JD should be from the same job family. Don't mix up a JD of a technical architect with that of an engineering manager with that of a technical program manager. Fine. If you're doing engineering manager, pick up engineering manager. You can go senior engineering manager, engineering manager. That's fine. One, two level up and down. But don't mix up stuff over there. Once you have that, then you have to aggregate the JD, just like we did the LinkedIn profile aggregation in the big vision. So here we'll be doing the aggregation of JDs. Again, you can do it manually also, and you can use this prompt. So I'm using this prompt. I'm giving it examples also, and it did a pretty decent job. So what is that? It does this aggregation for a technical program manager position. Okay, it can be again senior technical program manager, staff technical program manager. The designation can vary a bit, but a job family is same. So what it does, it again aggregated and got this. So these are the responsibilities and these are the qualifications I need to have. And it also gives the rationale, like how many times something is coming over there. For example, cross-functional program leadership is coming 4 times. That means it is pretty critical. You need to have cross-functional program leadership. Basically, you need to be able, here it is a responsibility, it's not a qualification, but more or less things are pretty much mixed. I mean, you have those things, you have done those things, then only you get those responsibilities most cases. So cross-functional, not just one function. Programs like which involves multiple teams, long-running things. You need to have examples over there. Stakeholder collaboration, just like I said earlier, technical program manager is a lot about stakeholder management. Qualification, bachelor's in technical, so it's asking for BTech kind of degree. It's giving a particular number, more than 7 years and stuff like that. And it is also like, it's in fact ChatGPT itself did the like what is most important, what is not so important. And but I generally prefer manual review of this. Okay, because it is not just how many number of times it is coming. In fact, the position in which it is coming in a JD also matters. uh, that is too deep to go into this particular call, but try to do some manual judgment also, and again do this red, green, yellow. Just last time what I did, you color code everything. For example, this one is giving these things. Okay, so if I don't have a bachelor's degree in technical, I'll mark it red, and that means it is probably difficult for me. if they're requesting that. I mean, of course, I have a master's is a different case, but I need to have some degree. That means that education is important for me. So, see, if you ask me that, I'm the kind of person who generally says degrees certification don't matter, but there are certain situations they do matter if you get the data. So if this is coming and here somebody say you've done BSc physics or something, I have done BSc physics also. I did a master's. That's a different thing. But if you just have that, probably I need to have some masters over there. So then I need to do some education over here. But 7+ years of experience in this kind of company, and saying okay, everybody's asking for this, so I don't have 7+ years of experience. I just have 3 years of experience. What do I do? I cannot simply produce experience, right? Experience is something that needs time. So what will I do? I'll simply either lower the experience. So I'm say if I'm going for senior technical program manager, I'll go for technical program manager. That will be one level less. Or I'll go for smaller companies if my goal is the role. So we have to do this kind of thing. Red, green, yellow. Green things, great. Yellow things and to brush up. Red is like something that I don't have. And if it is predominantly red and yellow, then probably this is not the right JD for me. Either I have to change the role, change the kind of company, or lower the seniority of the particular role. But if it is predominantly green, there's some bit of yellow and red. Always there will be some bit of yellow. It should not be all green also. If it is all green, that means you are not actually ambitious enough. You're not actually targeting something very high. So if it is predominantly red and green, sorry, it's predominantly green with some bit of yellow and red, probably this is the right path for you. And once you know that particular thing, then you start preparing according to this JD. You try to bridge those gaps that you need to, whatever the green, prepare stories around that, make them even stronger in those things yourself, make yourself even stronger in those things. Yellow, again, brush up, red, at least try to get some conceptual understanding of those things. And then you proceed forward. So I hope this, I hope it was not too overwhelming. I know it's a long one. I'll say don't just watch the video, play it, pause, do the exercise, again play, pause, do the exercise, because exercise really matters. The assignments, I mean, I keep on telling in my mentorship, like don't just watch videos, that is useless. Okay. If you don't do what needs to be done, it's just waste of time. So whatever I'm telling, do that. And if you find value, leave behind your feedback, comments. That'll definitely encourage me to produce more videos like this. And once again, if you need this, just reshare this particular post and put in path in comments. I think that is what I told in the beginning. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. Just tag me and put something over there, and I'll share those links with you. All the very best, and I hope you get all the success that you deserve.